There is no other way to look at this because that's it. Why does this sort of thing happen? Wake County mom says her son's classroom has no permanent teacher for school year. This is published on WRAL News yesterday, which that would be October the 10th. It was updated this morning, written by Keely Arthur. Let's take a look at what this says. A Wake County mother recently discovered her son's classroom has been without a permanent teacher for the current school year, and she said she has never been informed. Jennifer Chinillo's son, Corbin Chinillo, is a 16-year-old sophomore student at Athens Drive Magnet High School in Raleigh. Corbin is a special needs student who relies on a speech tablet to communicate. Jennifer said she noticed something was wrong when Corbin stopped communicating. He'll only tell me if he wants to eat, she said. Chinillo said she didn't know why until a staff member mentioned his Athens Drive Magnet High School teacher from last year who worked with Corbin on his tablet daily was gone and had not been replaced. She said the teacher moved to another district. Chinillo said she got an email from the school's vice principal a week later saying Corbin didn't have a full-time teacher. She asked to switch her son's class due to his regression, but the district said that wasn't possible. They said, "What would we do? Move all the students without teachers?" Chinillo said she is still upset and her son remains without a permanent teacher. Okay. Now, I would encourage you, if you look this article up, to actually watch this news story because it does detail everything that's going on. You can see here in the video, let's kind of scrub through this. You can see the student here on the left, and you can see Jennifer Chinillo, and she sits down with news reporters to discuss this issue, so on and so forth. This situation here that is being described in this article is nothing new. It is not something that is exclusive to she's not the only one who has experienced something like this or has seen something like this, because this type of thing happens all over the place. And clearly, you see how charged up I am right now because I have a lot of thoughts on this, and I want to hear what you think as well. So make sure that at the end of this video, you put your comments down in the comment section below. As a matter of fact, go ahead and put them in right now. But let me just go over my thoughts on this and just tell you a couple of things. First of all, now this is an unfortunate circumstance, and ultimately, at the end of the day, when something like this happens and there is no permanent teacher for the entire year, it is the student who suffers. It is the student who suffers for this sort of thing, who falls behind and is failed by the education system. There is no other way to look at this because that's it. The students who don't have a permanent teacher in their classroom are the ones who don't get the education that they need going to public school or whatever school that they go to. So that's really all that can be said about this. And it is a shame and it's sad that this is the situation. But we need to ask, why does this sort of thing happen? And I'm sure you already have some ideas of your own, but let me just tell you my quick thoughts on this. First of all, and I know that this is a tired subject, it is talked about to no end. Even 10, 15 years ago, actually before my grandfather passed away, I can't remember the discussion that we were having. As a matter of fact, it might have been when I was going through the master's program to get my MAT. But he told me, he said, if you're going into teaching, it's a work of love. It's a work of love. You really got to love it. And I never understood why people said that, because he's not the only one that I heard that from. Anytime you mention that you're a teacher, people say, well, God bless you, or something like that, because there is this stigma around teaching. But what it comes down to is teacher pay. And as I said, it is something that is talked about endlessly. But teacher pay is one of the reasons why this happens. Because here's the thing. It's not just about making money and that teachers want to get rich or anything like that. But the pay scale, as it currently is a silent message to teachers and anyone who wants to become a teacher that you are not worth the investment. You are not worth it. There's a school leader that, I'm not going to point any fingers and I'm not going to be specific here, but there's a school leader who I heard at the beginning of the school year. I'm sitting there, in the crowd in the auditorium or whatever at this, meeting at the beginning of the school year. And school leader gets up there and says, every year we try to fill the positions by hiring Walmart teachers. Walmart teachers. That's what this school leader said. Now, I'm not exactly sure how to take that or what was intended by that. But here is what I'm thinking. Walmart to me means cheap. Walmart, I can go to Walmart and get all my shopping done, get everything taken care of, and not feel bad about the prices that I'm having to pay. Walmart is cheaper than Target. It's cheaper than Super One. It's cheaper in most cases than Dollar General. You can't even give me Dollar General teachers. You're saying that you're hiring Walmart teachers. So basically just run-of-the-mill, basic, cheap. That I don't know what was meant by that, but that's what you're communicating to me, is that teachers are cheap, they're expendable, and that's it. There is an article that I read recently about this one guy. He's called the Walmart teacher, I believe, if you look him up on like Instagram and TikTok and all this. But he made headlines because he quit teaching because he decided he found out that he could go to Walmart and make more money working at Walmart in the long run than working as a teacher. So he quit his teaching job, went and worked at Walmart. And I said, is this a real thing? Like, is this? And sure enough, the pay for someone at Walmart, if you're working full time, is comparable to what a lot of first year teachers make. And if you stay with the company for a long time, you can actually move up the ladder. It's it's easier at Walmart to move up the corporate ladder than it is to move up in education. And you can make more money if you become a manager. So just think about that. Okay, what are you saying about the value of teachers if teachers are getting paid as the same amount as a Walmart employee, and then going even further, you're calling teachers Walmart teachers? That's one specific case that happened, but it just, for me, these are the types of things that I have heard and the types of things that I have seen and what is communicated to me. And I'm not the only one. There are teachers all over that are saying the same things. So there is something true to this. So honestly, I mean, if you want teachers to stick around, you need to raise the bar. And, there are a lot of, and if you go back to this article and you listen to this, they go into some statistics on teachers leaving the profession and that sort of thing. But one point that they make is that there are a lot of qualified, highly qualified, certified teachers out there. They're just not willing to teach anymore. They're not willing to teach because they don't feel valued. The way that the things that they have to do, the way that they're treated, they just don't want to do it anymore. So going back to the original story, you have this mom who is concerned for her special needs child who isn't getting the attention that he needs in the classroom, and they can't get a permanent teacher. Well, part of the problem is that you're not valuing teachers like you should. And it's a whole thing. And it's been going on for a long time now. So, what I say, you need to, if you want quality teachers, if you want people to stick around, if you want those permanent teachers, you need to start paying teachers more, because then you might get some of those teachers who are highly qualified and who know how to move students, who know how to teach. They might actually come back to the classroom. So that's the first thing. And let me just confirm some of what is said. Let me just do a little bit of storytelling time here, tell you some things that I have seen and just my education experience. So the second school that I went to, I came in February. And when I came in, I was the third teacher that had been in this particular classroom. This is me in a grad program studying to get my MAT, and I have to, for my coursework, I've got to get in and be a student teacher, or you can actually sign a contract and work as a teacher practitioner and get paid a teacher's salary while you're earning your degree. That's kind of how the system works now. So the second school that I went to came in February. I was the third teacher. And when I got hired and when I did my interview and everything, they said, yeah, you're going to be teaching ELA. That's what they said. You're going to be teaching ELA. So did all this stuff, signed a contract and everything. Well, then a couple of, right before I actually went in for my first day, they said, oh yeah, actually, it's remedial ELA. Remedial ELA. So then I was working with students who were behind, and without going into too much detail, a lot of these students, I had a student that had actually, I believe he had killed his sibling when he was young. His father was in jail, but it was a whole situation. This was the type of students that I was dealing with. I just to get that some students who had lots of challenges, life challenges, and all of that. But so remedial ELA, all right, and I have hardly any teaching experience at all. And to top that off, the classroom that I had was way out in a portable building, way out. And so I was disconnected from everybody. There were some other portable buildings near me, but I didn't know those teachers. And then the 7th grade hallway was, on a different part of the campus. So I wasn't even around my actual colleagues. And the collaborative meetings kept on getting canceled. So I hardly ever, I was just way out there on an island by myself. This is not having hardly any experience coming in. So imagine what teachers feel. I mean, that is that's not an ideal. That's not something that people want to stick around and have to go through. It's not an easy situation, having no support, being in a remedial class at the very beginning, just being thrown to the wolves essentially. And despite the struggle and everything that came from that, I'm thankful for it because it did show me, I learned some things. And I have seen that. I had that experience, and I can look back and reflect on it. And I think that I am a better teacher for it. The school that I went to after that, also in part of the MAT program, I was either the third or fourth teacher. And what was happening was that and I came in right after Christmas break, which was like January. And what was happening was the teachers kept getting run off. And because they didn't have a permanent teacher there, they would take the students that were supposed to be in my class, in this one ELA class, they were taking the students and dividing them amongst the other ELA classes. So what you had then were teachers who had been in the profession, right, for a few years, but they were getting all these extra students crammed into their classrooms. So they had way more students than they could handle. And then when I finally came in, it's coming in the middle of the year, is not easy at all, because at that point the kids are so used to inconsistency that like you have to come in and retrain them essentially. And again, as a new teacher, hardly have any experience trying to my classroom management was nothing like it is today. It was chaos, mass chaos, mass. It was not good. But you can see how these things affect everybody. And ultimately, again, going back to this article, the students suffer because they can't get the attention they need. They don't have a consistent teacher. You're putting people in there like myself who have no experience, don't know exactly what to do, don't know what they're doing. And then, yeah, it's a whole mess. And then the teachers who have been there are having to take on extra students often with teachers leaving. And then I did not really have much support. I don't know. There's so much going on. But, this mom saying, well, they didn't inform me. They didn't tell me that my student didn't have a permanent teacher. And I feel for her. But at the same time, this is so rampant. This is her case. And I'm glad that it is out there. But she is not the only one. And I think that for her, what I'm trying to say is that for her to, be upset that she's not told, it's like, look, I get it. And it's not any one person's problem, really. It's not just that school. It is the system itself that is failing students and that you have to look at. So those are my thoughts. I think that teacher pay definitely factors into this. And this kind of thing, it is nothing new. And hopefully someone sees this video and thinks twice. All right, thinks twice about these things and thinks about what they're doing. So yeah, that's all I have on this. I definitely would love to hear your stories, your comments, your ideas on this. Please leave all that down in the comment section below. Also, make sure that you like this video if you like this content. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell button so you get notifications every time I put out a video for Classroom Camp. That's all I have for you today. See you next time.